So I wanted to actually take a moment to introduce Rand Denny, who's the Executive Creative Director of Neighbor Agency, who's sitting next to me. Rand is a true partner. We work together on a number of business from PETCO, Lohas, the Organic Center, Jamba Juice, Safeway, Manduka, a number of others in the health and wellness space, and all of them are on a mission to bring wellness to the world. And Rand is, as our ECD, one of the champions in our agency of helping us all to think and act differently and really elevating us in every possible way. So we've brought together, I couldn't have done this panel without him, and we've brought everybody together, particularly our panelists, to show you how some of the world's biggest companies are doing things differently and the issues that they've faced and how they're making change in their organization, and hopefully let's create a dialogue on how they can help inspire a little bit of change or answer any questions you have about what they're doing. So first and foremost, let's hear from a couple people in the audience because I do want to know who we're speaking with. So I'm going to call on you unless somebody wants to raise their hand of who they met, someone maybe they haven't met before they sat down. Right.
Learned about our apple cider made near Sonora and all organic and pretty interesting.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Yep.
I'm actually active as a company called EcoBonus. It sounds very interesting. Hopefully we'll partner together.
Great. EcoBonus is an amazing company. Actually, probably every brand here could benefit with EcoBonus. So thank you. Yep.
I met Marnie and her partner, who are like designers for good, and they're actually our neighbors in Santa Monica.
Perfect. Great. So most importantly, what we're going to talk about is values and shared connections. And so bringing it back to that, one of the things that we talked about a little bit at lunch and as we were putting together this panel, you can open up, you can read everybody's pedigree and bio. They've done amazing things in the world, but I was thinking instead of me talking about that, you can read their bio and allowing the panel to introduce each other and their shared connection and what they learned about each other. So I'm going to have you.
I'm going to introduce Amy Skoczlas-Cole. She's been at eBay for about 2.5 years, but before that spent 15 years, I found out, at Conservation International. And I asked her what got her inspired to be in that, and she said ever since she was a small child. In fact, her mother recently found a letter that she had written asking to save the koalas. So it's been a lifelong mission and passion for her. Also, interestingly enough, I found out her 2-year-old son was born on Earth Day. How appropriate, right? So she said Earth Day is a very hectic day for them and her family. She lives in Silicon Valley and said that one of her favorite things to do is they go hiking in every Saturday morning in just the beautiful mountains. So I had the pleasure of meeting her company this morning. Thanks. Who's going to?
You can be lost. I'm going to introduce Elizabeth from PETCO. The few things that I found really interesting is, one is she spent a whole month, because this is the anti-me, she spent a whole month in Paris going from museum to museum looking at the art, because she's a great lover of fine arts and every different type of art and fine art that you can think of. And how I think it relates to her personality as well, as she has had the kind of companies that she's worked with is as interesting as the fine arts. You've worked with, you're with PETCO now, but, you've been with Taco Bell and you've been with Victoria's Secret. So it's such a variety of taking that same, love of marketing, but taking it to different places. The same with, with what and there's one other thing I want to mention is the places, because she's moved a lot. Every 4 years you move. We both have kids, and she's got 2 kids. Like she says, that's a center of a universe, it's a family. But there's a reason why she once moved from Manhattan Beach. Yeah. Did you say? It's because it was too beautiful. She just basically get too lazy of walking out and the world's perfect. So I'm going to ask her to tell you, so where did she move to from? No, I won't say it. But she moved to a different place in the US, somewhere in Ohio.
Nothing against Ohio. Nothing against Ohio.
But it was a different world from Manhattan Beach. But I thought it just shows you the guts as well to move out of your comfort zone in everything that she does, from the different kind of companies, not being satisfied with just what she's doing, but always challenging herself. And that's constant with your love of the fine arts.
Thank you.
Great, and I'm going to introduce Hank Camphor. Hank is a native of South Africa and started his career at what would probably be the pinnacle for most people. He was actually asked by Nelson Mandela to lead an effort post-apartheid in workers' rights and labor. And as a personal side, Hank has 2 kids. One of them, keeping on the theme of kids coming into the world on days that are important to us personally, one of them was born on May Day, which in South Africa is Worker Day. So he understands my issue around what do you do on Earth Day when you've got birthdays to celebrate and a job to do. Hank is on a unplanned, I think, although I'm not entirely sure, kind of world tour from South Africa, ended up living in the UK working for Oxfam, interestingly enough, before then heading to the East Coast of the United States, and most recently, just a couple of months ago, became a Seattle resident and is adopting to life there. Hank has spent the last couple of months ingrained and embedded with the team at Starbucks, really helping he works for Edelman, and so really helping Edelman and Starbucks craft a really seamless relationship in this world. And he is one of the most, I've known him for a couple of years, he's one of the most strategic thinkers in the entire bringing together values and business space that I know. So I'm looking forward to his presentation.
Great, thank you. Hank is also known, can I tell him?
Okay.
Alias Angry African. South African. So if you ever really want to find his blogs and his real opinions, that's where you can find him. So let's get started. We're going to dive into the rules. And just to let you know, this is a social panel in the spirit of the way the world is working right now in terms of marketing. Feel free to participate. We will have a Q&A at the end, but if there are questions that come up as any one of us are giving presentations or talking, please chime in, raise your hand, shout it out. It's all good. So rule number 1, actually, before we jump to that, is stop people calling people consumers. So we'll just go back to this. Let's stop calling people consumers. The biggest thing here is we are not put on this earth to consume, but we do consume things that we love. So we're actually meant to be lovers. And if we can find a way to turn people into lovers, then you're actually going to be doing your job as marketers and selling the brands more. So that's rule number 1. Another rule, the first one also that I didn't mention, and this is sort of a neighborism, is neighborhoods, not DMAs. It's the reason why we're down here together all on the same level, because we need to stop marketing to designated marketing areas and really start thinking about people as communities and neighborhoods and all of us as one. So here we are together as one, and that's really important to us as an agency.